as OTAs roll on, we've gotten some news today about some competitions going on in the Minnesota Vikings starting spots. Now, the competition, it's special teams competition. We'll just preface it with that. So obviously special teams aren't the most exciting, but as we've seen over the years, bad special teams can really, really tank a season. And this last season, our special teams improved greatly from what it was the year before. Kicking game really came around with Greg Joseph. Minus one game, which we've already discussed at length. Kick return job, solid with Kenny and Wangu there.
It's more than solid.
The punt return job, though, for the last year, the punt return job has been a little bit shaky, to say the least. Obviously, KJ 2 years ago didn't quite get there. Who do we even use at punt return last year? I don't even remember at this point. Was it one of the receivers?
At punt return?
Yeah.
I think KJ actually came in for ISM for a bit. It's kind of all over the place. So I know he was kind of taking some punts at the end, just probably because he was the only one with experience, really.
Right, for sure. But then obviously Jordan Berry coming in to replace Colquitt last year. He did really well too. So yeah, a lot of things going on the Minnesota Vikings special teams unit. So let's kind of jump into some of those a few of those competitions going on, a few of those jobs up for grabs. Speaking of jobs, by the way, so I still don't have one yet. I'm still not done with my current one, but I still don't have another one lined up. So we could really use you guys to hit that subscribe button for us, smash the like button on all our videos, comment your thoughts, share our videos with your friends, hit the bell, get notifications for when we upload new videos. Yeah, help us get monetized, help us get paid, help me start making some money again after my job here in a couple weeks. And so it'll be great. Gonna have some expenses when I move down to the cities area, so it'll help out a lot. But anyway, we'll put that behind us. With that being said, let's jump into some of this stuff. So this comes from Will Raggett. Minnesota Vikings special teams coordinator Matt Daniels mentions KJ Osborne, Jalen Naylor, and Amir Smith-Marset as players they're looking at punt return. Smith-Marset has only done kickoff returns, but Daniels thinks his skill set will translate well. Now, obviously, that was kind of a thing with we'll start with ISM. With him coming in, is at Iowa, he was their kick returner, and I think that's one of the things that the Vikings really loved about him is you saw his speed on kick return, you saw his quickness, he had some touchdowns. Guy's got speed. We saw it last year when he played wide receiver. Obviously, the injuries kind of kept him out for the season a lot, but. Same thing with Jalen Naylor is they liked him for. Obviously Keenan McCardle liked him as well as a wide receiver, but the team also loved his returning prowess. And KJ Osborne, of course, he has been a returner. Maybe with the different special teams coordinator, maybe they can unlock something in him, kind of like they did at wide receiver previously, and maybe that'll translate as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that job goes. I would think Smith-Marset and Jalen Naylor are probably going to be the favorites, mainly because not that I don't think KJ can do it, but I don't think you want to take a guy like KJ Osborne off the field when it comes to returns. And obviously, Kene, he's not giving up the kick return spot, best kick returner in the NFL. So I'm curious to see how this competition is going to go. Obviously, I'm sure there's other competitions going on that we just don't quite know about yet. We probably won't know about until we get there to get closer to training camp. But this is one that Matt Daniels himself said that it's going to be competition all over the place on his defense or on his special teams unit. So I'm curious to see where this one goes. And it's, as we've known, returner is a very important position.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at this, like you said, KJ Osborne, we don't want to see him get off the field because we're hoping that he's playing so well at receiver. But we also, at this point, we don't really want KJ Osborne to be that guy because we've already seen enough of him at punt returner. And you never know. He can always get better and stuff like that, but he hasn't done the greatest, I guess. So you kind of are hoping that a Jalen Naylor or a ISM are one of those ones will step up and take that spot because we want our punt returning as good as it can be. We want our special teams to be as good as possible. With Kene there at kick return, it's already like on its way. And these are two areas that we've been kind of struggling the last few years, other than when we did get Kene, and we're still looking for that punt returner job. One thing I really like that Matt Daniels did say though, and mention was that just that he loves rookies, and it doesn't seem like he's afraid at all to plug a rookie in there if he thinks they're ready and he thinks they're the best player for that spot, I guess. And which is really refreshing to hear because, we've mentioned it before too with Mike Zimmer. He had a difficult time starting rookies right away, and he waits a long time before he kind of lets them get going, I guess. And I never really liked that. I kind of wish, out like we've mentioned this even last time, but Justin Jefferson took him a couple weeks to get going, even though he obviously looked like a star. We've seen the weird things with like Cameron Dantzler, and so I don't know. I think I really like that about Matt Daniels, and Matt Daniels, he seems like he's going to be a great asset to this team, and his personality seems pretty good in it. You can just tell there is this culture changing in Minnesota, and there's that excitement going on, and all these new guys with these new opportunities, and all this talent that we have. So I'm really excited about this. If you were to pick one person, so you are, because you kind of already said, you said ISM.
I think it's going to come down to ISM and Naylor, and I just like what I see from ISM with the speed and quickness. So I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win the punt return job.
Yeah, I could see it, because and then at the same time, I don't think ISM's going anywhere as far as, when it comes down to the final 53-man roster. Part of he has a chance to be a wide receiver 4 still. And I mean, if Naylor ends up being wide receiver 4, that's where it depends on, because how many wide receivers do you want to keep on the final roster? Is Naylor gonna take ISM's place on the roster? I don't really think so. ISM had to show too much at the end of last year. So it just depends. I mean, if Naylor looks that good at punter and we decide to hold another wide receiver because of that reason, then that's obviously a good sign. But
right, for sure. I mean, and they haven't been afraid to hold wide receivers for special teams in the past. Obviously, Dan Chisena doesn't do anything other than be a punt gunner, and he's one of the fastest guys on the team. So
right.
So they could very well hold a 6th receiver just to keep them on special teams. So it'll be really interesting. I mean, obviously, it's easier if those guys compete for offensive spots as well, use them a little bit here and there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But obviously, like I mentioned, on the other side of special teams, not the return, but the kickers and the punters. Obviously, last year, Joseph, as I said, was solid. Jordan Berry, very solid. But that does not mean their jobs are safe either. Also, Jeff Wald Fox 9, quoted this from Matt Daniels, saying that there'll be a full kicker competition. That's why we brought those guys in. Competition makes each other better. We'll see how guys respond to it. So obviously, Greg Joseph, his job isn't going to be safe either. I'm going to put his name, Oklahoma kicker Gabe Brickich, I think, or Brickich or something. I think it's Brickich.
Gabe Brickich. So
the guy with
BRKIC.
Yeah, the guy with the killer mustache looks super cool. Yeah. And even Jordan Berry, I don't have the tweet here, but his job is up, or his job is under competition as well. What did I say the guy's name was? I forget it already.
Ryan Wright.
Yep.
So we got Greg Joseph and Gabe Brickich, or something like that, for kick returner, and then Jordan Berry and Ryan Wright at punter.
Yeah. So, but this is a good thing. Competition breeds better players, because it's not like you're handing anything. People breathing down your neck. I personally think he's only saying this to hype up Greg Joseph even more and get him more on point. So it's what happened in the Arizona game last year doesn't happen again. Yeah. So, I mean, because I don't see Brickich taking Greg Joseph's job, especially with how good Joseph was last year. Right. And same thing on the other side with punter as well. I thought Jordan Berry played really well, but like he just said, and like I just mentioned a little bit ago, competition is a good thing for any team, anywhere, any sport.
Yeah, I like it.
Competition is needed.
Yeah, I like it. I like that they're gonna bring in another kicker and another punter, because I don't think we're convinced that I think Greg Joseph did fantastic for us last year. I think Jordan Berry did fantastic for us last year, but they're no Justin Tucker or anything like that. So it's not like, we're not committed to them long term. I mean, we've seen it as Viking fans a million times where a kicker comes in and plays really well as one year, just for this next year to be like out of the league. Yeah. and it's crazy, but yeah, you see that. So, and there's not a lot of consistently like long careered Adam Vinatieri's, Justin Tucker's, Gostowski's, those kind of those kind of kickers, those long-term kickers. So I can see why. I think that's why I kind of like there to be competition, because you never know, you might have some young kid come in and be that guy for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe not, because Greg Joseph did really well and Jordan Berry did very well. And it's another one of those things too, where it's just so much mental in it. I couldn't imagine being a kicker in a professional sports. But I did want to go through just quickly, couple little stats. So last year, Greg Joseph hit 90% on extra points. He was 36 for 40. And then he also, I guess this part kind of matters, I guess, but his kickoff average was 63.9. It's probably all touchbacks. Where's his field goal? That's what I need to see. So and then he was 33 for 38 on field goals for 86.8%. So even though this is college, completely different thing. We've seen a lot of talented kickers come from college into the pros and it not work for them.
But also, we have seen a lot of talented kickers come from the pros, not work for us, and they go to Vegas and they become the best.
And become,
but
yeah, we do. Yeah, that too. So the interesting thing about this Gabe, and I remember hearing this right after we picked him up, but Gabe Brechek is that he was 58 for 57. No, 57 for 58 on extra points. So he had a 98.3% on his extra points. But his which is pretty insane. I get that, very insane. Especially with Greg Joseph, he kind of struggled with that here and there. But he hit 20 of 26 field goals for 76.9%. So if you just take those stats, who knows how it will really go? Greg Joseph is still 10% on Gabe Brechek as far as field goal percentage made. Plus, he hit almost double the amount as well.
But I do want to say with the extra points, though, college is still much closer. I think college is where the NFL started. Yeah, they haven't moved theirs back.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a whole different thing. So, We'll see. I would say my prediction, absolutely, Greg Joseph wins this. I agree with you completely that, if anything, this will just get Greg Joseph more focused. But another interesting thing, so with Jordan Berry and Ryan Wright, is Jordan Berry, his yard per punt was 46.5, where Ryan Wright's was 47.5. So 1% ain't a ton, but still, I mean, so he could have a stronger leg. Obviously, it goes way more into that, especially with punting. There's a lot of accuracy, kicking, trying to kick within the 10-yard line and stuff like that. We probably could go and find those stats, but we're at the end of the day, we're talking about kickers and punters.
Yeah, which we say that now until one of them loses a game, and then all of a sudden that's all you can talk
about. I know, and then that's the only thing that matters. Then that's the only person. That's what I'm saying. That's why being a kicker or a punter, especially a kicker, would be a tough job. Like, it sounds like a sick job. Like, you just go, like, your job is to kick field goals. You don't have to get tackled or hit or any of that stuff. You just go out there, kick field goals. But the pressure would be insane. Like, you just kind of assume that if you're good at kicking and stuff, you're probably good at like golf, and it just that pressure and like hitting tough shots. You just have to have that like mental.
Right, for sure. But in non-special teams news, we talked about Kellen Mond last week. Wes Phillips in his press conference today said he's looking sharp. So just had to toss that out there. Quarterback of the future, Kellen Mond.
Yeah, it's definitely worth worth mentioning. Last week we know that he got some second team reps, but now it's becoming clear that he's taking advantage of those second team reps, and I think there's a good chance that he could be quarterback too coming in. It'll be interesting to see his progress, and I'm excited to see how much hype we hear about Kellen Mond going forward into training camp and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But jumping into a story that I found really interesting. Now, of course, everybody looks at the division at this point, and it's still, people still think it's going to come down to Packers Vikings, of course, and most people are giving the edge to the Packers by a few games even. But Brian McFadden, of all things covered podcast, of course, people are going to say, oh, he's favoring Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson is his co-host. He's favoring Patrick Peterson's team, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, let's look at what he said here. 2-time Super Bowl champion, by the way. The guy knows what he's talking about. I think when you look at the roster, when you look at the schemes on both sides of the football, the experience at key positions, this is a team that is set up nicely to win at least 10 games. All I said, and I'll say this also, even though you didn't ask me, I'm giving my opinion. I believe the Minnesota Vikings will win the division this season. Now, Brian McFadden knows what he's talking about. Everybody wants to talk about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Every year.
As long as they have Aaron Rodgers, they still have a chance. They got Christian Watson. The guy's a speed demon and a drop demon. They got the corpse of Randall Cobb, who's like 90 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Really stay on the field. They got Alan Lazard, who has one big game, two or three big games every year, and everyone's ringing the bell. Oh, Alan Lazard, he's the next great wide receiver. There's no Devontae Adams on this team, people.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers might be able, or might depend more on other people. But what's the point if you have people that can't catch, are old, and are Alan Lazard?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Robert Tunyon's going to be their leading receiver. Aaron Jones, I'm still worried about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a very good football player. And the backup there, whose name escapes me, A.J. Dillon, who's also very good. But who knows? Maybe they might even end up playing them both. But Aaron Jones is going to be a wide receiver by the end of the year. Who really knows? But Brian McFadden knows that the Minnesota Vikings are the best team in the NFC North. No doubt about it. I agree with them. Vikings are going to win 13 games, I think I said.
Yeah.
Easy money. Easy money. Brian McFadden, you're one smart man.
Yeah.
Patrick Peterson be a lockdown corner this year. Let's go.
Yeah. I think people are definitely undervaluing Davante Adams for that team. Like, I know you have Aaron Rodgers, but man, like Davante Adams was like that whole receiving course. And I just think you lose him. I don't know. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is just going to be able to do that all by himself. And I just think we have you have Aaron Rodgers. I get it. I feel like we're stronger in almost every other position other than maybe some of the offensive line. And then, maybe you could say corners and just corners. Otherwise, I think I'd take our receivers. I'd take our running backs. I'll take our tight end. I'll take our edge rushers. I'll take our whole defense. It's just, come on. You put Aaron Rodgers on there and you're automatically say he's going to make it to the Super Bowl. And then he chokes every single year. And then you keep saying he's going to do it every single year, even if his team is obviously worse. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Packers, I hate you. I know you're not going to watch this. If you do, don't hit the dislike button because that's a dick move.
I agree. It is a dick move. But anyway, yeah, I mean, little Vikings news updates there. I think the special teams thing, though, special teams isn't a huge selling point. Special teams isn't what people want to talk about. Unfortunately, it's not what they want to listen to either. So we'll see what goes on. But it's important, and these jobs are important, and my job is important. So my job needs to be this. So subscribe, like I said. But yeah, so I mean, I'm curious to see where the special teams competitions are going to go. And then obviously all the other, because obviously there's going to be other competition on the team when we get, OTAs, OTAs are just a way to get the guys together and start jiving a little bit. But I think once we get closer to the season, there's going to be a ton of competition and it's going to be very exciting. There'll be much more to talk about other than kickers, punters, and punt returners. So with that
I can't wait.
Yep. With that being said, that'll do it for today. If you want to check out some of our other stuff, you can click the link right up there. Check out those videos. Most importantly, like I said, get us monetized, get us paid. And the only way you can do that is by subscribing, watching our videos. And we will see you guys in the next episode of the GG Sports Podcast.
SKOL Vikes.